Hey guys, and welcome to one of the oldest grudges in the book, as Clan Ungrund, led by Chad Thorgrim, Grombrindle himself, does take on HJX and his Greenskin forces. Now, Grom is incredibly powerful in the current meta, so I'm sure there's many grudges you guys need to have fulfilled against him, and it looks like the Dwarfs are going to be trying to see if they are up to the task, and this has been considered for quite some time a bad matchup for the stunty folk, so we'll have to see how they do perform. For Grombrindle, in his front line, he has gone miners with blast and charges. Going to be very good at clearing out Greenskin chaff, as well as doing okay damage as well to some more of the elite warriors. We have Longbeards in the secondary battle line looking to help protect them a little bit longer when the miners do indeed start to fall back. In the central core of the build, we do have a couple units of Thunderers to do some long-range pressure, very good at taking down Black Orcs as well, and more Miners with blast and charges in the back line, and some Longbeards, accompanied by some Slayers in the centre there. So not getting too heavy on the guns, which I like a lot, because Greenskins are one of the best swarming factions in the game. Up in the skies, we have 2 units of Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns, again, very powerful in this meta. You can shoot Black Orcs very well, take out GROM in key targets, although a lot of Greenskin folk do start to prepare for them and come with a load of skirmish cavalry, so not over-investing with them I think is also a good idea. For the leadership core, we have Belagar Ironhammer in the centre, bashing his hammer against his shield as he prepares for death and glory. Comes in with Revenge Incarnate, Mighty Oathstone, as well as Rally, and he's accompanied by the 2 Ethereal Thanes. We've only seen some Undead Dowie here. These guys cause terror. Greenskins in general don't have a massive amount of magic damage unless they have brought Spirit Leech, Fist of Gork, those type of units. But apart from that, really like the build. Nice, tightly and compact. Should be able to form a good defensive formation. Now for the Greenskins, it's relatively traditional. We have a load of skirmish cavalry, Goblin Wolf Rider archers, as well as Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Now you may be thinking to yourself, why bring so much skirmish cavalry up against heavily armoured Dowie? Well, one, they're very good at killing Slayers, but they're also your insurance up against Gyrocopters. For the main battle line, on the flanks we do have Night Goblins, including the Regiment of Renowned 8 Picaloons on one flank, and then Black Orcs in the centre, looking just to cleave their mighty axes and hack their way through the Dwarfs as quickly as possible. More Goblins on this flank and some in the back line, protecting the rusty arrows. For the leadership core, we have Grom the Paunch, of course, looking absolutely fearsome as he points forward. That is where I want to go. That is who I want to kill. Angry Goblin yells at grass for a little while here. Coming in with Lucky Banner, as well as the Great Inn is here, and Language Du Bois. Very powerful items and abilities all round. And we have Double Caster. Night Goblin Shaman coming in with Vindictive Glare, Sneaky Stabbing, and Itchy Nuisance. Orc Shaman coming in with Gaze of Gork. And, wait, was that Gaze of Gork or Gaze of Mork? I'm getting my gods mixed up. No, it is Gaze of Mork. I knew I did something wrong there. And here we go for that plus 40 melee attack, which is going to turn those Black Orcs into absolute lawnmower Dowie slain machines, or even more so than they already are. Immediately you can see the Goblin Wolf Rider archers going to be hunting down those Gyrocopters where possible, trying to force them off the field and back away from key targets. Good target priority already coming in from the Greenskin forces. Other units just bouncing around the left-hand flank a little bit. And Morgulus Mage and Marauders actually have decent armor piercing, so a nice pick against the Dwarfs. So wasting ammunition on miners isn't the best use of their time. Some Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns have forced their way all the way around the back, looking to hunt down Grom where possible. They do have anti-large with those Brimstone guns, can do some really nice damage to him, apply pressure throughout the course of the battle. And as one unit dips away and hides in the forest, the other starts to push its way forward, aiming directly at Grom. The Thunderers have started to open fire, aiming at the Goblin Wolf Rider archers, peppering them down, trying to slay a few of the mangy mutts themselves, as the Gyrocopters decide to fall back once more, and the Vindictive Glare comes in, missing the Gyrocopters, but now all of a sudden it looks like the Shaman is going to get his blast, and misses as well! Good juke in there by Grombrindle, and the Gyrocopters managed to evade the magic missiles of the Greenskin forces, and now Grom is going to start to get punished a little bit, but the rusty arrows are here, and they'll easily deal with these Gyrocopters if they stay in the same place too long, and it looks like the Dwarfs haven't yet noticed their predicament. Thunderers continue to unleash fire into the Black Orcs, who charge forwards, axes held high, looking to get to Crumpin. Blast and charges do come down as the heroes of legend charge forward. Belagar and his 2 Ethereal Thanes chanting a war cry straight into the Black Orcs. It looks like explosions coming over as well, decapitating and ripping apart limbs of the Black Orcs. Here we go, has been popped though. Mighty Oathstone going to try to keep these units fighting, but with, here we go, popped, even the Goblins are going to be able to rip and tear apart the Mighty Dwarf Warriors. On this flank, Goblins getting obliterated by the blasting charges, but a lovely Fanatic cast goes down the line, catching 3 units, Longbeards, Miners, as well as the Thunderers, doing some good harass there. And in the back lines, the sneaky Goblin cavalry has started to scheme. whipping around the flanks, shooting those Slayers, probably also charging in and engage with the Thunderers in hand-to-hand combat as well. Likewise, on the left-hand side, it looks like the Dwarfs having a bit of problems. Miners have managed to deal with the 8-peak loons, but not before some of those Fanatics did horrendous damage, basically neutering these two miner units and making them relatively ineffective. Both Gyrocopters are still alive. One of them has taken huge damage beaten so far from the Rusty Arrows, but now they're shooting in onto the Black Orcs, trying to break the centre of the formation that the Greenskins are currently performing relatively solid in. Grayton is here, the War was popped as well, Slayers, Longbeards, everyone being chucked to the front line to try to hold back GROM and the Black Orc menace, and they're not really able to touch Kingland Ironhammer or Harkenhalf Stonebeard. The Ethereal Dwarfs coming in with that massive physical resistance are really hammering down the Black Orcs, with the assistance of Belagar, of course, and he's getting in there absolutely bloody, coated in the blood of enemy and friend, doing some good damage all around. Both the casters are going to start engaging in combat. Slayers constantly trying to harass GROM where possible, but Lucky Banner has been popped. Keep him alive, despite the fact double Gyrocopters with Brimstone guns are constantly raining fire down upon him. Slayers nipping at his heels, and he may break, and if he breaks, that's very good news for the Dwarvish folk, because they can chase him away with the Gyrocopters, switch those bad boys to attack mode, and get in there and do nasty work. It looks like Gyrocopter's Brimstone guns maybe going to be taking a magic missile to the face. The Orc Shaman lines one up. He's whirling around with wild power here, but looks like he decides to pop Here We Go instead, buffing up these Black Orcs to really chew through those Longbeards, allowing the Rusty Arrows to try and deal with the Gyrocopters, but they themselves being shut down by some Slayers. In the back lines, we have some nasty Skulkers who must have been in Vanguard positions. We missed them earlier on. Shut down one unit of the Thunderers, and all of the Skirmish Cavalry for the Greenskins is still alive and active, chasing down routing units and constantly harassing the enemy. Nasty Skulkers also moving over to this left-hand side, and that looks like all of the range for the Dwarves, apart from the Gyrocopters, have been dealt with, which is really, really bad news for them, because the Rusty Arrows still have decent ammunition, pouring shots into the Slayers as Goblins hold them back. Sure, the Goblins aren't too happy about that one, but that is the life of a Goblin. Black Orcs now do moving on to the hero core. My Goblin Shaman's terrified and running for his life because, of course, the ethereal units do indeed cause terror, which is massive against the Greenskins, particularly when they've managed to deal with GROM in such a manner. You see him healing up quite nicely, but these Gyrocopters not letting them out of his sight, or letting him out of their sight, I should say, as he gets pounded down, and some of the Gyrocopters even going to go into hand-to-hand combat to ensure he's forced off. And that terror is working wonders in the middle here. You can see the Black Orcs fleeing in all directions. All the leadership as well is on the run, but the Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers, Wolf Riders, Morgulus Mangy Marauders are really starting to wrap up the rest of the battlefield at the moment. And it's kind of looking like the hero core may get surrounded and beat down in the end. But some Thunderers are rallying in the trees as well. Miners have regained their courage. Had a little sip of Buckman's, getting ready and pumped back up to come back into the fight. Kingland Ironhammer has popped a rally on him, it would seem, or he has rally popped on him by Belagar, as both the Ethereal Thanes doing decent damage to the Black Orcs, who are giving it their best go, but they must be a little bit confused. Dead Dowie, hitting with an axe, it's not going down, very frustrating. But at the end of the day, Black Orcs are still doing relatively decent damage, particularly to Belagar, who's getting very low morale-wise. He's completely surrounded, relatively isolated, and the Forest Goblin Spider Riders and Morgulus Mangy Marauders raining fire in from afar. One Gyrocopter does decide to come back to the fight, and Overcast goes down by the poor little Night Goblin Shaman, making himself explode in the process. It doesn't even look like the magic missile went off in the end, and these guys coming in, and maybe a fat bombing run could be on the cards here. And yes, it's coming in. Look at these little gobbos, badoosh. And those guys not having a good day whatsoever. The Black Hawks seem to run, and having the bombers come over the ethereal units is a really good idea. I mean, heroes and characters in general don't take much damage from such attacks. It's really designed to kill infantry, but particularly the ethereal ones will take basically no damage from those Gyrocopter bombing runs, so I love to see that play in action. A ton of the Greenskin forces starting to lose hope because GROM has finally been forced off the field. They're getting that big negative to their leadership. However, Goblin Wolf Riders are not out of this yet. Continue to focus down those Gyrocopters, who are getting rather low now. Just the one model floating away and maybe going to be going down for some repairs soon. Black Orcs are eventually dealt with here by the hero core, but not before Belagar's come down to just 2,000 health. Both the Thanes looking at relatively strong. Black Orcs are wavering, but in comes the Wolves. Goblin Wolf Rider Archers bounding into combat, trying to break the morale of Belagar and force him off the field. And lo and behold, we have more Gyrocopters coming back into action. Both the Greenskin heroes have once again regained their courage, perhaps trying to inspire the war to greater feats of heroes. And this Orc Shaman is deciding to run Leroy Jenkins style towards the enemy, or maybe he's going to try and hide behind this tree. Either way, I don't think it's going to go too well for him, and as soon as he sees the enemy, he turns tails and starts legging it. Although, fortunately for him, gyrocopters, you can't really outrun them too easily. Lovely little smoke bomb goes down, attempting to save the Orc Shaman, but he is unfortunately shattered. Likewise, so has the Night Goblin Shaman. Balance Power is moving dangerously close to army losses as the mighty heroes of the Dwarves hold firm one more time, pushing back the Greenskins. Every time they charge in, they're losing model after model. And we have victory! Another grudge scrubbed out of the great book of grudges. But GROM did live in his sneaky goblin fashion. I'm sure he'll be back ready for more action at some point in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Well played to Chad Forgrim, also known as GROM Brindle, and HJX, for a really fun, close battle. That was pretty scary stuff all round. We'll get to damage value, damage dealt, and all that good stuff in just a second, but if you enjoyed this video, really enjoyed seeing GROM get his ass handed to him, then feel free to leave a big old fat thumbs up underneath, as well as commenting down below what was your favourite moment, who's your MVPs, and what would you like to see in the future on the channel. Feel free to subscribe as well for more Total War Warhammer content. We're actually going to be doing a live stream. I'm not sure if this video is going to be up before then, but we're going to be live streaming the gameplay reveal that CA are doing over on Total War, and we're just going to live stream it alongside it and give our thoughts and reactions as they do all the glorious breakdown stuff. So make sure to tune in and check out that. But wait, on to all the goodies. If we have a little look over on the left here, Belagar Ironhammer, Man, the Mountain, or I said the Dwarf, the Mountain, the God of War, 1.3k damage value, not too shabby, although he is rather expensive coming with all his items. And the Ethereal Veins didn't get much damage value, but that terror was so useful, particularly when they managed to assassinate and force off GROM. The Greenskins just couldn't hold up to it. They broke time and time again until eventually they shattered. Miners did a solid job across the board, getting some okay damage value, helping to clear out some of the chaff. Likewise, I always love to see Longbeards. I think they're a really solid mid-tier infantry unit. Not the greatest damage value, but they hold for 50 years. They do not care what you chuck at them. Slayers unfortunately couldn't get on any key targets, performing okay in the end. They managed to do a little bit of damage to GROM at different parts and help force them off. Likewise, the Thunderers kind of struggled a bit. Again, some good initial burst damage, but Greenskins very good at swarming. Managed to wrap around and shut them down, those sneaky, nasty skulkers. But the Gyrocopters or Brimstone guns can make or break this matchup. You could see really good play by Chad Forgrim, kind of regimented play. I'm not going to get these guys killed at any cost because I know I need them in the late game. Always trying to duck, dive, and dodge out of the way of the skirmish cavalry. Did get caught out once or twice, but that is inevitably going to happen when you only have 2 units trying to run away from so many. But you can see on the damage value, it certainly paid off. 1,000 damage value, second unit 861, but more importantly, killing GROM the Paunch, who though, despite the fact he got assassinated, got 32 kills, but a rather miserable 371 damage value on him. Likewise, none of the hero core for the Greenskins performed particularly well. Goblins across the board really suffered. That is their job, though. They're here to push into the back line. Nasty Skulkers performed much better. 722 damage value, shutting down both those Thunderers. Really good play there from HJX. And the Fanatics, of course, performed far better than their average counterparts. As for the Black Hawks, 1,132 damage value here, 1,090 and 1,332. I love the combination of these guys combined with Here We Go to turn them into real monsters. They did some solid work. Likewise, the Rusty Arrows performed really well. 1,300 damage value, certainly not too shabby. Skirmish Cavalry struggled for the most part to get on top of the correct targets and didn't get the best value, but they are rather cheap, so. And it looks like we had some stolen pump wagons. No idea where these guys were lurking. Seems like they didn't do too much in the battle. Basically full health, so they're probably forgotten about until the very end. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace. And as always, stay awesome.